Hey everybody, thank you for listening. This is Casey, and I'm sitting here with Tim and Neil from Raincheck. They are a local band who just recently migrated to Austin, Texas. Could you guys just give me your names and your roles in the band, please?
Yeah, my name is Tim. I am the rhythm guitar player and resident band dad.
And I'm Neil. I play drums, and I'm the other stepdad.
Awesome. Could you guys give me just a background of your band, just kind of how you guys formed up? You know, what kind of made you want to form up, and just stuff like that.
Yeah, well, the musicians in the band, we were all in a band previous to this, and then we kind of wanted to do something different than what we were doing, so we kind of moved on and we talked to Tyler, who's the singer in the band, and we're like, hey, would you be interested in doing something with us? And he was like, yeah, definitely. So that's kind of how it started, which is kind of beneficial because it takes a while to get comfortable with writing with other musicians. So since we'd already kind of had the rapport with each other and been writing for a while, it definitely helped with the process for the EP and everything. So
It was really smooth, I think, transitioning with him being in the band too, because we knew him really well before he was ever a part of the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think that like even just bringing it up to him in the first place, it already felt right, and we knew that he was going to say yes from the beginning because he's wanted to be in a band
yeah,
for so long, and he's like really really talented. So whenever we were thinking about this new transition, he was definitely the first person that came to mind for us. Yeah, so when we asked him, he was completely stoked, and it just kind of flourished from there. So
Nice. And when was this?
this was about a year ago, so I think
yeah.
January, February of last year,
Well, when we first talked to him, it was like
December.
middle of December, like towards the end of December, and then we played our first show, like the second week of January or something like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
That was pretty soon.
yeah,
Cool. So over the past year, I don't know the exact month, but you just released your first big release. Was your
yeah.
EP? Things change. Um, uh, could you guys talk a little bit more about that? I mean, what is it that made you want to go the the EP route?
Yeah.
And just about some of the songs.
Yeah, a lot of it. So the songs, at least two or three of the songs, we had already had written. So when we brought on Tyler, they were pretty much done. So all I had to do was add vocals to them. Everything else we'd already finished, and then we wrote a couple more to kind of fill out an EP. Our thinking with the EPs is that since they're smaller, and in turn cost less money to record, that we could potentially do more frequently rather than doing like a full length and spending a few grand, and putting it out with a really good producer. You can do a couple of EPs for a lot cheaper. They're faster to record. They've kind of just in that way we're consistently putting out content. I think that's one of the things that we've all been looking at, especially in today's day and age where there's a million things to like look at and do. The more frequently you can put something new in front of someone's face, the better. At least in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of why we did it. The songs themselves were kind of a mixed bag of things that we all like, uh, kind of influenced by. For sure, I mean, there's definitely some different genres mixed in there. Um, but yeah, I was gonna say we all really liked all the songs. They all had their own individual kind of feeling and flair. So it was really fun to record them and finally hear them like in their full recorded glory and not just like at a show or in a room somewhere. But
Yeah, definitely. I think that momentum is like a really big thing for us, especially when it comes to the reason why we are doing EPs and singles rather than full lengths. Because if you keep that momentum as a local band, it's gonna benefit you way more than it is if you do a full length and then wait a year or 2 years before doing anything else. And then as far as like the writing process for it goes, um, with all of the different bands that we listen to, like, I mean, now it's kind of to the point where we're starting to all listen to the same stuff, which
yeah,
is kind of funny.
yeah,
But like me and Tim are really similar. Tyler listens to a lot of the same stuff, but like Drew and Jesse before weren't listening to the same things really that much very often before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I mean it's definitely you could definitely see a lot of influence from all the bands that we listen to, particularly with the last track on the record. That was a lot of my doing, and because Defeater is my favorite band, and I was like, this is the only chance I'll get to write a song close to Defeater, and I managed to sneak it in there. But yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, we listen to a lot of the same stuff, but there's definitely little areas of things where we're like much more different, and so you kind of see those things come out, especially because we spent a lot of time writing those. So
yeah, before we were a pop punk band, and like straight pop punk.
Oh, wow.
And so if you listen to like our stuff now compared to how it used to be when we were the band before,
yeah, it sounds way different.
it's progressed quite a bit. I mean, there's still like a couple of songs that sounds
Yeah.
pretty pop punky, but like I think that as we get more mature in what we're listening to and what we're writing, we're getting further away from that. So
Nice. So speaking of momentum, you've already released a new song, like really recently,
Yeah.
in the past like month and a half,
Mhm.
Distant. Is this a precursor to another new EP you guys have coming down the chute, or are you going to release a couple more before you announce that?
We just recorded it as a single.
Uh-huh.
We're not planning on putting it on an EP or an upcoming release. We just wanted to do something. We just wanted to do a single and put it out. I think it's more of a progression as to where the band is going. I think it's kind of a transitional song for us. I think it's definitely different from anything on the EP, but there's definitely still elements of the stuff that we did before. We want to try and get another EP out soon, but we do have other stuff like coming up, some touring and things like that we're going to knock out first. So because we haven't done a whole lot of that, and so touring and kind of getting out of where we normally play is a big focus for us this year. So
yeah, and staying together and trying to write stuff has been kind of hard. I just moved down here in September of last year, and then he just got here last month
January.
in January. Yeah, so the other guys are still back in Abilene, Texas. That's where we're originally from. So
Oh wow!
Mhm.
How far is that drive?
3 hours.
3 hours from here. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So like getting together for shows isn't that hard just because I mean everybody drives, but practicing, it's been hard to practice and write stuff just because we're all split. But now that Tim's here, we're able to write some more stuff, so
Yeah.
it'll be good. And I think that with me and him both being here, we can kind of get skeletons for songs and then just send them to the other guys that can write stuff. So we'll see what kind of comes out of that. But
Yeah.
Is the rest of the band eventually going to make it to Austin, or
yes,
Yeah, that's the goal.
did you guys just want to come to a bigger market?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is we couldn't like we're pretty good friends with a lot of the bands from the area because we played here before and like we just know them from other stuff. And the hard thing with Abilene is there's not really a market for the genre of music that we play, like at all. So anytime we had to go play a larger show or got a larger show offer, it's driving 3.5 hours or 4 hours to go do it. And like we'd been offered larger shows before, but it was like 2 days before the show, and it's like I work and I also have to drive 3 hours to get there. So there's more logistics involved with doing that. Whereas with a larger market, there's much more opportunity. Granted, there is more competition, but you also are not having to, like we just jumped on a show that's in Houston, whereas if we were in Abilene, the drive from there to Houston's like 6.5 hours. Where I mean, you're talking a day and a half or 2 days worth just for one show, whereas now, even it makes it easier on the guys in Abilene because they can come here. Like I have a van, so we can all just jump in the van and then go, and it's not having to drive, halfway across Texas to go play a show.
So in Abilene, were you forced to have a country side project just to mesh better with the rest of it?
The funny thing in Abilene is that actually hardcore is like
Oh, really?
one of the bigger genres
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard "Close Your Eyes"?
No, I have not.
Okay, so they're kind of an older, old-ish
Yeah.
hardcore band from Abilene that signed with Victory
Yeah.
Records.
They were like a mid 2000s Victory
Yeah,
band.
but they became a pretty big deal, and they came out of Abilene. But like a lot of the local bands, all that you see there is like hardcore bands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they're all really good.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is like we play a show and we're playing with all hardcore bands, and we're not
Yeah.
a hardcore band. So, I mean, it was just kind of hard to fit in, really.
Yeah.
Now our plan was originally to go to Dallas because we have a pretty big following in Dallas.
Yeah.
And my work offered to move me down here instead.
Nice.
And so I had like 4 or 5 hours to decide.
Yeah.
And so I called Tim and we were like thinking about the logistics of coming down to Austin, and we thought that actually it would probably be a better situation than going to Dallas in the first place. So it's all kind of worked out that way. But,
Yeah, Dallas is bigger, but Austin has well, at least it still might have a bigger music scene.
Yeah, and for us, it also made a lot of sense too, because where we record is with Luke at Black Room Studios, which is in Georgetown.
Oh, nice.
So the studio is about 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah,
So for us, and we're really good friends with like Luke and then Joey, who works with him. So like for us, it made a lot of sense because when we write and stuff, like we can go there, we can do like pre-production or like record what we're writing, and there's just a lot of advantages to having a professional level studio just like down the road from you that you're and you can't really like replace that's a huge commodity. And plus, since we're going to record there anyway, it's like if we can do writing sessions and jam sessions there and like get down ideas and songs and stuff ahead of time, it's just going to make the recording process easier because they're going to have all of the pre-production and files and everything there that they're going to need. So
Oh, nice.
as far as like hitting more shows too, Austin's kind of in the middle of a lot of different cities.
yeah,
Whereas opposed to like when we were in Abilene, Abilene's like right in the middle of Texas, so there's nothing around us even close to us.
yeah.
If you want to go to Dallas, it's almost a 3-hour drive, and it's the
come
closest
here.
big city.
Mhm.
If you want to come here, it's more than 3, almost 4 hours. But being here, we can hit San Antonio, we can hit Corpus, we can hit Houston, we can hit Austin because we're here. I mean, we can hit a lot more big markets than we could
Yeah.
if we were going in that other direction. So
Yeah, Austin or Texas in general is really strange because it's like the most major markets within a 5-hour radius.
Yeah.
And I can't really think of any other city that has that many major markets within within just that
Yeah.
small amount of
Yeah.
area.
Definitely.
Cool. So you talked about playing a show in Houston and let's transition over. So when is that show, and what else are you doing as far as touring, playing? And also South by Southwest is coming up
Yes.
a lot sooner than I thought it was. So
Yeah. We're actually playing a showcase. I don't know for sure where it is yet, but it's being put on by actually some friends of ours that book usually in Dallas are putting on a showcase. Nominee's going to be playing it, which is a big like Austin band. Keep Flying, a couple other bands. So that we're really looking forward to that. I think that's the 13th, March 13th. And then
do you know what the showcase is called, or?
I don't off the top of my head, to be honest with you. They were just like, "Hey, do you want to play?" We're like, "Yeah." So yeah, I don't remember for sure. But yeah, I was gonna say Houston. Houston's actually in April, and then at the end of April, we're doing a 4 or 5 day run, mostly through Texas. We're going to be hitting Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, Corpus, and maybe one other place. And that was being set up through Word is Bond. They're going to be booking it, and I don't know who we're going to be out with. They're still looking at a couple bands that are on their roster that we might be going with. But yeah, that'll be exciting. That'll be the first purposeful tour we've ever done. We did like a string of like 4 or 5 dates last year that was completely on accident, where we just like, they were like, "Hey, do you want to play this day?" And we're like, "Sure." And then someone else was like, "Hey, do you want to play this day?" And we were like, "Sure." Well, it ended up, it was 4 different dates in 4 different cities, all through 4 different promoters. And so it was kind of like a mini tour without actually booking it that way. So
Would you guys hit the road for that? or
no,
what?
we've just like, because at the time we didn't have like the capacity to just like all load up and then just like leave for those days. So we would just like drive to the show and then drive back and then
And
drive.
work
And
the next day. and
It
then-
was brutal. Like I was so tired after that 4 days. I was like, oh my gosh, if we're doing this again, it's got to be like on purpose because it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough, but it was a ton of fun. But it was definitely, and the shows were sick. Like we didn't play a single show that sucked. It was like they're all really fun. Like the crowds are really into it. It was all really really good, but it was rough for sure.
And the Houston show is going to be, what, April 6th?
April 6th, yeah.
Yeah, so that's also going to have Nominee on it. And then what were the other bands that were going to be on it?
Nominee, Crow from here, Lions and Tigers, and a couple other like Houston area bands that we haven't played with before.
Yeah,
But
this will be our very first time playing Houston, so we're like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
really
And,
excited. So
what venue are you playing?
that's a good question. I have it on my phone. I can look it up real quick.
it's going to be in East Houston, kind of close to downtown.
Yeah. Let me see. I should put this in my calendar, but I just don't. Satellite Bar.
Satellite Bar?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's pretty close to downtown, but we're really stoked on it. We like I said, we've never been to Houston before, and I have some friends that are from Houston that have been a part of the Houston scene for a while, and they're like, yeah, it's a pretty cool scene. So we're excited to get down there and break into that market a little bit. Everywhere we've played, we have really good reception, and people have been really into it. So I'm excited to go new places and hopefully create the same excitement. People dig it. So
Nice.
Mhm.
So I guess just this is my last question. What do you guys have planned for the future, the immediate future, within the next month or so, and
Yeah.
beyond?
I mean, touring is a big thing. We want to start getting out to new places, especially nowadays. You know, bands, the way they meet new people and make money, unfortunately, is touring. And so we want to get out there and do that. We definitely want to record some more music and stuff, get some more media stuff. We had, for the single we released, we did a video and we released it through New Noise magazine. And it got a lot of really good traffic, and a lot of people really, really dug it and looked in, or enjoyed that kind of platform to enjoy our band. So we definitely want to do something like that again. It was also like a ton of fun to do. It was a lot of fun to do. So yeah, we definitely want to do that kind of stuff. Just keep plugging away at it. Like I said, we have a way better reception than I thought we would be, and we're way farther ahead of my internal band schedule of where I thought we would be.
Definitely.
We've had a ton of people really, really latch onto it. I mean, we've had a couple features to in alternative press and
Oh, wow.
stuff like that, which is wild. And unsolicited things, some guy just found us on Spotify or somewhere, was like, hey, you should check out this band, and just crazy stuff that I would have never expected or thought would have happened within the lifespan of the band this quickly, for sure.
Yeah, it snowballed pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think that I can say pretty confidently that we want to have probably another EP by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. So definitely that's one goal. I think that another is probably going to be definitely at least hitting all of the major markets in this area at least once.
Yeah.
With our work schedules, it's hard to play at high frequency of shows. So when we play them, we make sure that they're going to be big shows that we can reach a lot of people. That way it kind of does the work for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're very business minded as a band. So we are very, I don't want to say picky about where we play and what we do, but we put a lot of thought into it. We don't want to make any decisions that are just money burners for us. We want to make sure that we're spending our time wisely whenever it comes to stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you don't want to just play and just hyper exhaust yourself,
Right.
especially with work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's only so much you could do.
And that's the thing, one of the main differences between this band and the band we used to be in is that we played all the time. And I think, I was actually talking with our guitar player about this yesterday. I think a lot of times we still have that mentality of if we're not playing, we're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But number one, that's not the case. Number two, our music, it's crazy when you put out music that kind of works for you, like a lot of people are finding our band and supporting our band without us having to play shows. Like we're getting people from outside of Texas and all over that are enjoying it, listening, streaming, doing stuff, and we're not having to go out and play shows. So that helps a lot because it helps ease that feeling of constantly having to do something. You can put music out, or like our single Distant. I mean, it hit 1,000 streams on Spotify alone in less than a month, which is crazy for a band that's into its life only a year. At least for me, it's crazy. And so our music is getting out to people, and they're able to enjoy it without us having to constantly just play and play and play and play and play and play and play to the point where we've outplayed our welcome. So.
Right. And then Word is Bond is cool. So like they set us up some really cool deals. Like we've been on a couple of Alternative Press playlists.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
And the last one that we just got put on, we are like the third song down on the playlist.
Oh, nice.
So
It's
pretty
created
much-
a lot of traffic for
Yeah,
stuff.
pretty much everybody that goes to that playlist, they're gonna at least like hear the beginning of one of our songs if they don't skip over it. But,
Yeah.
like we're right there at the very top of it, so
Yeah.
that's helped us out quite
And
a bit.
streaming's such a big deal now.
But what if they hit shuffle play?
Right. Yeah, I know. Oh, no. Curses. No, but it has helped a lot. But yeah, Spotify and that kind of stuff, we've put a lot more effort into that just because it's so, streaming stuff is so big now. Playlists and, digital music is really, aside from like vinyl, but vinyl's expensive to make. So, because I've looked into it. But but yeah, I was going to say, we put a lot of effort into that just to try and get people, it's the whole, I would rather have people listen to my band and support me, like through listening or telling people about it or getting more people, than to just necessarily sell records or, sell digital copies or whatever. I'd just rather you listen to it and then later on down the road, if we come to your area and then you come out to a show or whatever, like that would make more of a difference. But
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and talking to me.
yeah, definitely. Thank you for having us.
Thanks.